Visions, the comic or graphic novel, was published, self-published tail end of last year. We premiered it in London with one performance of the music as it was in development, so people got to get a sneak preview of it. Visions is a semi-autobiographical, magical, realist story, so it takes episodes from my life, stories of conflict, and then looks at alternate states of consciousness and things like reincarnation and spirituality and past life regression and ancestral memory and all these other things that I'm really interested in, but uses real world incidents from regular inner city upbringing madness to do that. So the music which comes out today is the soundtrack to that comic. I think there's been some big changes in my music, and I've been talking to myself about this quite a lot lately and to my friends, where I feel a little bit like in the latter half, so the last 5 years, it's almost like I've only tried to show people the better side of myself, if you like. And Visions is one of the first times I talk about some of the rough episodes I went through when I was growing up, or some of the times when I was kind of misbehaving as a youth. Because when I first began, I grew up a particular way. I wasn't always perfectly behaved, even though I did very well in school. 16 to 21, I was a bit of a naughty boy, and it happens. My friends were not always as the best behaved crowd, and it was what it was. It's kind of normal inner city growing up. But I got to a point where I got so bored with a lot of the rap that was coming out, where every young youth that was rapping seemed to believe that they had to pretend that they was a killer or that they sold drugs, even if they were working in retail. That felt like what you had to do to be an MC. That I kind of almost went in a complete opposite direction and ignored some of the more negative aspects. And I think I'm trying to find a bit more of a balance now, where I deal with all the politics and history and all that stuff that I'm into, but also be like, well, this is where I come from and this is what I went through and this is still intrinsically sort of who I am. So I think the music has evolved in terms of taste, in terms of expanse, in terms of the kind of things that I'm into, in terms of the subject matter. But even if you listen to my first mixtape, War Mixtape Volume 1, I was 19 when I wrote that mixtape, and even on there is some analysis of history, of imperialism, of classism, etc. So those currents were always there. They were just a bit more rough around the edges, shall we say.